Hello, everyone. This is the video content that was provided today in the guitar class live lesson on Monday, April 27th. I'm going to show you how to get into Soundtrap, how to use it, and how to do our project this week. I know it's a lot of steps, so if you need help, please email me and we can schedule a private or small group live lesson together during your class time. If the video lessons are not fitting to your schedule or even your technology, please email me so I know and we can schedule something some other time, okay? So I'm gonna share my screen with you to show you Soundtrap. Now, we're going to sign in with codes. So I posted the codes into Google Classroom. There's a link to join and create an account and put in a code. It's very similar to any other online system you're using. Click the link, add in the code, and you'll make it with your Google sign in for school. That way, all you have to do is press sign in with Google. So I'm already signed in, and I'm actually going to be posting the projects right into Google Classroom. So all you have to do is click on the project and it'll open. Okay, you might have to sign in with Google, but you click on the project, it'll open up for you. So I'm going to show you what a new project will look like. I'm going to enter the studio. This is called a digital audio workstation, or a DAW, or a DAW, as some people will call it. This is very similar to GarageBand, if you have it or if you've used it before on an iPad or iPhone. But it's cloud-based, which means you can sign on to any device and access it. And you can collaborate. So I can see your projects as you're making it, just kind of like a Google Doc. You can also share it with your friends and you can collaborate. We can do small group work. So that's really exciting. So today we're going to work with a music project, not a podcast project. So we don't need podcasts. We're going to click on music. Now it's entirely blank. So we're going to have to do some stuff to change this. So we're going to add a new track. So on Tuesday, your first assignment is to add a drum track and a bass track. The drum track is going to be some kind of loop that's already pre-made, unless you want to put in the work of making your own. That's your choice. And then the bass track, you're going to have to create yourself. So let's start with the drum track. And we're going to say add new tracks. So we have options, voice and microphones. This will use your built-in microphone on your computer unless you have some kind of USB microphone or digital interface. Pianos and keyboards, these are all digital instruments now that you'll be able to use with your mouse and your keyboard. So I just clicked on one by accident. So to delete a track, I'm going to click these three buttons over here and say delete track because I don't want that. Now I think my little screen is covering some things here. So I'm going to move this to the bottom. So over here on the right, this is where you can access loops, this music note thing, or you can browse loops right here in the middle. Either one is fine. I'm going to click the loops here. I want a drum track, so I'm going to click drums. And I have beats, hip hop, jazz. I have all these different types of genres, or you can just start listening and pressing play to test it out. So here's one. So you might be able to hear that. Okay, I want something that's a little bit more jazzy that's going to go with my blues, because remember this week you're making a 12-bar blues sample. So we're going to click on jazz. And let me listen to a couple of these. Let's see if we have anything that says like swing, or I like that here, drums jazzy. I'm going to listen to that. I think that's perfect for a blues track. So, I mean, if you want to choose the same one, you could. So I'm going to double click it and there it is. Okay, so in my loops here, so this is now lasting, if you see the numbers up here, this is lasting for 8 measures. That's all I need from you, okay, is 8 measures worth. And now I need to add a bass track. So bass is the low guitar. It's a type of guitar. It only has 4 strings, and usually it's a little bit simpler. It just kind of like establishes our key, as in just kind of like lays out the notes for us. I'm going to send you and link below tomorrow in this video some resources of what I'm looking for specifically when it comes to the notes in this bass line. I want us to use the 3 notes A, D, and E in our bass line based on our 12-bar blues in A. So I'm going to click add new track. So I'm looking for a bass. So I'm going to click guitar and bass. And now you see I have a piano. This virtual piano is showing me what notes so that this will give me the option of notes to play. If you don't remember what note is which, you're going to want to go onto my YouTube channel to figure out which note is which. Remember, we have chopsticks, that's C, and fork, that's F here, and then the rest of our notes are filled in there. Now, the weird letters and numbers that you see here, this is my typing keyboard. A lot of the time, if you're trying to do something in time, it's going to be a lot easier to type it. So for our note, I'm going to pick this A over here because it's a lower. I'm going to click the N on my keyboard, right? And that actually makes it a lot better, a lot faster. Now, if we click here, this will change our instrument. So I'm going to go to bass, and I want an electric bass. So you have all these categories. You have so many options, but if you want to follow the same process I do, just stick to the things that I've done, okay? And you can just literally recreate what I'm doing. And now I want clean jazz. That's the sound I want. I'm going to play it, just see what it sounds like. Okay, I like the sound of that one. So I've clicked it, just gonna kind of X out, and look, it's already clean jazz here. These are all my different levels here. I can turn, so by turning up the bass, it's not turning up the instrument itself, it's turning up the lower sounds of the instrument. I want to turn that up because I really want a bassy bass sound. Treble are the higher tones within the sound, so I'm going to turn that down just a little bit. Reverb means it's going to echo a little or, you know, sustain the note. I actually do want a little bit of reverb so it's not so dry. Now, when I set this and then you play it, you can change it as you're playing, you know, decide what you like. If you record it, you don't like it, we'll delete it, okay? Pan, this is just gonna decide if it's kind of like on the left side or right side listening. We'll just leave that where it is. And volume, let's turn it up a bit so that later on you can adjust the volume over here if you want, okay? So now I want to record my bass track to go along with my drum track. So I'm gonna click the record button and then play along here. So I'm gonna play this A, this D, and this Q. So I'm gonna click on the N, the period button, and the Q button to make my sounds here, okay? So I'm gonna press record. And it's counting off on the top, as you can see. Now I go to Q, back to N. So I just made like a bass line using some of those notes that I talked about. It wasn't the actual 12 bar line, but I'll get into that in another video. So now I'm gonna press play just to listen to it. Play is down here, the bottom. Now, maybe you wanted yours a little bit more interesting. Maybe you don't want it that boring. Maybe you want to, you know, add some stuff, you know, make it a little bit more interesting rhythm. That's your choice. Now, maybe you also thought that was a little too fast. So I'm going to delete this track. I click it and I press delete or backspace. And down here at the bottom of my page, we can change the tempo. So this is going to change the tempo for the whole piece that I'm doing. So 110 is my 110 beats per minute is what I'm at now. Maybe I want to just kind of knock it back to 80. Okay, audio adjustment. So it says, would you like to adjust your audio data to match the new tempo? This can take some time. So that means if I already recorded something in there that wasn't that tempo, that bass line that I deleted before would have been changed. But now it just changed the loop, which happens a lot faster because it wasn't a live recording. It was a built-in loop. So another thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to add on. So to extend this loop, we got a little loop-de-loop here up in the top. I'm going to click on it and drag one extra measure because you know what? I'm thinking that if I want to record this clean jet, the bass line, I kind of want like a measure before I come in just so I can hear it first, okay? So I'm going to extend this out a little bit because this is my playback track, right? So I'm going to go into my clean jazz again, and I want to, you know, record back in here. So I'm actually going to delete this track here and make a new one. Okay, and then we add track. I'm going to do my guitar bass. I'm going to change my bass again. I like the bass electric. I like the clean jazz sound. I'm going to turn up my bass levels, turn down my treble. I want some reverb. And I want to turn up my volume. So see my tempo is now at 80. It's going to start a lot slower. I'm going to take my play track and bring it all the way back. I could have also pressed down here if my thing was here. If I press record right now, it's going to record in the wrong spot. Okay, so it's gonna start not at the beginning if my playhead is not in the right spot. Oh, well, I lied. I guess sometimes it does start at the beginning, okay? If I wanna go all the way back to the beginning, I press this arrow down here. Now I wanna delete this. Okay, so now I'm gonna give it about a measure and then I'll start playing, okay? So I'm gonna press record and it'll count me off. I'm gonna stop it there. And then I just wanna make sure I like it, listen to it. And then maybe like, okay, that was a good tempo to play along, but I don't like the way it actually sounds. So I go down here and I change my tempo. Maybe I put it back to 110. Let's try that. So it says that it's going to take a second to adjust. So it's adjusting my bass line because that was all it was. It literally just did it that fast. So now let's listen to it faster. Isn't that great? So I can record it on a slower tempo, but then speed it up so it sounds faster. That's a really cool feature. Now, also, I just realized that I think a few minutes ago I said I want 8-bar phrase. So silly of me. We're doing 12-bar blues, so it has to be 12 bars. So we would want to take this track and loop it out to 12 bars. But if I want like an introductory measure before the bass comes in, I'm going to want to loop it out to like 13. That was silly of me, but now we know better. Also, I'll put that in your instructions for tomorrow's assignment. So now I want to make sure I save it. Now this is all you need to do for Tuesday. You just need to do the drum track and the bass track. And then I'm going to make extra instructions and a video to add on the guitar track and everything else you're doing. But real quick, if you want to record the guitar part, if you have a guitar and you're in the guitarist group, just click on voice and microphones and it will pick up what you're doing right away. I suggest on your guitar, turn down the reverb, like only a little bit of reverb maybe as you're recording, because if you're not working with a high quality mic, it might just kind of sound funky. Also, when you're recording live on the microphone, you're going to want headphones and it's going to ask you if you have headphones, okay? So I'm going to say I'm using headphones, but because I don't have them on, I'm going to get feedback like that. Yeah, we're going to want to stop that. Okay. So theoretically, it just heard me talking and got feedback and it recorded it all together. I'm going to delete that. When you do the solo track, you can do it as a guitar where you see the piano at the bottom again, or you can do it on a live guitar if you have it. That's going to be your choice. So I'm going to delete this track again. Cool. So if you have any questions, let me know. Don't forget to save as you go. Okay. And let me know if you need any help. Email me, do what you need to do. And I hopefully will talk to you all soon.